Welcome to the Culturevating Leader podcast, a podcast for founders and people leaders who know that culture isn't written in policy. It's felt in every emotion your team experiences at work. I'm Dena, co-founder of The Culturevators and managing director of New Wave Learning. And in each episode of this podcast, I explore what it really means to be a cultivating leader. You'll hear stories, insights, and practical moves for turning emotion into a strategic lever for performance, loyalty, and growth. I'm excited. So let's get into it. Hello again, it's me, Dena, host of the Cultivating Leader podcast. And welcome to this next one-to-one episode where we'll explore the difference between leaders and managers. Just a reminder, these solo episodes are inspired by conversations that I get involved in either with clients or at networking events and even in my own professional development. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the topic with the intent to inspire you to think or feel something different about leadership and culture. Sometimes we'll go deep on a specific subject and other times I'll explore a broader range of views, but always we'll focus on the topics shaping the cultivating leader today. So settle in and we'll get into it. This episode, I explore the question, what's the difference between a leader and a manager? And why does it matter? At a recent panel discussion as part of a networking event I attended, someone shared a story from their time in the military and their perspective of the title leader and how in that context it made them feel a little uncomfortable about being classified as a leader in their own business. The quote they used that prompted my question for this podcast was, "A true leader is the person you'd go over the wall for." This analogy captures the significance of context. A leader in the forces will tell you when you need to risk your life in high-stakes situations. There is no consultation or debate. The order is given and you deliver. In corporate, we tend to see this more as the description of a manager, and some may argue not a very good one at that. If you've got manager in your title, you're probably balancing deadlines and KPIs, project budgets and people issues. It's a lot. And the truth is, most managers aren't really supported to develop as managers, let alone as leaders. But here's the good news. Leadership isn't a title. It's a mindset that sets your behaviour. And no matter what your business card says, you can step into leadership in the way you show up for your team, whenever you choose. So, what's the difference? Okay, so managing is about processes, order and delivery. It's essential. Without effective management, things, quite simply, fall apart. But leadership is about impact and how you make people feel about the things that they are being managed to do. It's about inspiring commitment, not just complying with a task or an instruction. The reality is, you need both. But here's where cultures can get stuck. Managers are asked and expected to deliver, and they're rarely given the space, tools, skill development, or confidence to lead. And that's why I believe this conversation matters, because leading is what turns tasks into purpose. It's what turns teams into cultures. When I think about the leaders I've worked with who truly inspired me, they didn't just manage my workload. They led me as a person. Nick, Nigel, Jeremy, the leaders I'd go over the top for, and I explained why in my last one-to-one episode, they all had this in common. They made me feel something beyond the task list. With Nick, it was the recognition that built my confidence. With Nigel, it was the trust that made me feel safe to grow. With Jeremy, it was the openness that made me feel valued and seen. Those aren't management skills, they're leadership values. And they shaped not just my experience, but the culture of the teams they were responsible for and that I wanted to be part of. So this is where the link between values and culture shows up again. If the values in your organisation are accountability, trust and respect, managers can enforce them as rules, but leaders bring them alive in daily moments, which makes you feel accountable, feel trusted and feel respected. It's the difference between saying, we value trust, and actually giving someone the freedom to step into a new role because you believe in them. That's the shift from management to leadership, and it's the shift that builds a healthy culture. So, what's the difference between a leader and a manager, and why does it matter? For me, the difference is this. Managers control output. Leaders shape experiences that deliver outcomes. Managers get work done. Leaders inspire people to do their best work. And it matters because people don't remember the tasks they completed. They remember how their leaders made them feel. That feeling is what drives loyalty, trust, and healthy culture. And that's what keeps people with you when times get tough. So, here's my reflection for you this week. If you've got manager in your title, think about the balance. Where are you managing well, keeping the ship steady, hitting targets? And where could you take one small step into leadership? Maybe it's recognizing somebody publicly. Maybe it's listening longer before giving instructions. Maybe it's showing trust in someone to take on something new. Because management keeps things running. Leadership is what makes people want to run for you. Thank you for joining me for this one-to-one conversation on leaders versus managers. If today's episode sparked something for you, I'd love to hear what resonated and even more, how you'll take it into your own leadership. So connect with me on LinkedIn and let's continue the conversation there. Until next time, I'm Dena, and this has been the Culturevating Leader podcast.